Guangdong, China, August 4, 2025. On the night of August 1st, the skies over Guangdong suddenly erupted with deafening thunder. Lightning tore across the darkness, illuminating the treacherous Beima Mountains as they faced the fury of nature. Rain no longer fell in drops. It poured down in colossal walls, crashing like a raging waterfall tearing through the already suffocating air. At that exact moment, 5 young people stepped into an inescapable tragedy. Just hours later, news would shock all of China. They would never return. At around 8:22 p.m. that night, the first alarm blared inside the emergency command center of Weidong County. A desperate call pierced through the pounding rain. People swept away by floodwaters. Beima Mountain, 5 people. The scream was swallowed by howling winds and raging currents. Yet it was enough to ignite the entire emergency rescue operation. Minutes later, sirens screamed, rescue vehicles sped through the storm with red lights flashing, and loudspeakers roared through the desolate mountains. All units ready. 5 missing, but the scene of the tragedy was no tourist trail. It was a remote, closed-off wilderness, narrow paths lined with jagged rocks, sheer cliffs on both sides, and mountain streams that turned into deadly monsters in the rainy season. By the time rescuers reached the site, the night was pitch black, and rain showed no mercy. Visibility was only a few meters. Beneath their feet, hidden currents churned like lethal traps, ready to swallow anything in their path. More than 1,300 rescuers were deployed, an enormous number for a single accident, yet still too small against the madness of nature. They searched every mountain crevice, every river bend, every patch of bushes along the banks. Ropes, life vests, flashlights, search dogs, everything was used, but relentless rain turned every effort into despair. Each time the radio crackled, the victims' families held their breath. No sign yet. Keep searching. The current is too strong. Watch for landslides. Elsewhere, the entire province of Guangdong was plunged into unprecedented emergency. Torrential downpours, described as waterfalls from the sky, slammed coastal cities and the Pearl River Delta. In just hours, floodwaters surged, sweeping away roads and bridges, forcing hundreds of families to evacuate in the dead of night. Nanfang town in Zhaoqing recorded a staggering 258.7 millimeters of rain, enough to submerge an entire neighborhood. In Fengkai and Weiji counties, at least 54 road collapses occurred, and over 300 people were evacuated. Authorities immediately issued a red alert, the highest level in China's heavy rainfall warning system. But it wasn't just Guangdong. Northern and northwestern China were also shaken. Gansu, Qinghai, Ningxia, arid lands rarely touched by rain, were suddenly battered by storms, sending rocks and mud cascading from mountains onto villages below. The Ministry of Water Resources and the Meteorological Bureau jointly issued a red alert for flash floods, a level used only when countless lives are at risk. Tributaries of the Upper Yellow River were forecast to exceed flood warning levels, threatening millions who live along its banks. By the evening of August 3rd, the entire nation was struck silent. After nearly 2 days of desperate searching, rescuers finally recovered the bodies of all 5 victims at Beima Mountain. Among them was a 17-year-old, an age that should have been filled with dreams and laughter. But the sudden flood took everything, leaving behind unimaginable grief for families and friends. No one could comprehend how a summer evening outing turned into a tragedy haunting the entire country. Meanwhile, the rain did not stop. On the morning of August 4th, Shantou High-Speed Railway Station, a vital transportation hub, was forced to cancel numerous trains for safety. 26 trains were either cancelled or rescheduled, stranding thousands of passengers inside the station, staring out at a world turned white by relentless rain. Across Guangdong, red, orange, and yellow warnings blared in succession. By midday on August 4th, at least 9 towns recorded rainfall exceeding 250 millimeters in just 24 hours. The raw numbers alone sent chills down spines. The rain hadn't stopped. Floodwaters were still rising, and the next disaster was only a matter of time. Even Beijing, more than 2,000 kilometers away, could not escape the wrath of the skies. On the morning of August 4th, 5 districts simultaneously issued red rain alerts, the highest level in China's disaster warning system. The districts of Mentugu, Fangshan, Huairu, Fengtai, and Shijingshan, mountainous areas surrounding the capital, had turned into giant water traps. Forecasts warned that in just 6 hours, rainfall could exceed 200 millimeters, a figure that left meteorologists stunned. The risk of flash floods and landslides was deemed extremely high. Unprecedented in recent years, authorities shut down tourist sites and urged residents to stay indoors unless absolutely necessary. But for those living in low-lying areas, fear was more than just rain. It was the haunting thought that their entire home could be swallowed within minutes. What made this disaster even more devastating was the relentless chain of extreme weather. Months of heavy rain had already saturated the land. One more downpour was enough to send mountains collapsing, soil sliding, and rivers roaring out of control. In many places, people hadn't recovered from the last flood when a new one struck. This buildup forced the Chinese government to activate multiple high-level emergency response measures across multiple provinces at the same time. A rare occurrence. The Ministry of Emergency Management dispatched 2 task forces to Qinghai and Ningxia, while maintaining a special command post in Guangdong to oversee flood control directly. Residents of Guangdong lived under unbearable tension. Sirens blared non-stop, mixed with the pounding rain and loudspeakers shouting, "Red alert! Flash flood and landslide risk. Evacuate immediately." Children cried in their parents' arms. Elderly trembled as they climbed onto rescue trucks, leaving behind homes and fields swallowed by muddy waters. In many areas, power was completely cut off. Phone signals faltered, and communication breakdowns left countless families terrified, unsure if their loved ones were safe. The world watched the unfolding disaster with heavy hearts. On Chinese social media, millions shared haunting images of Beima Mountain in the storm, the place where 5 young lives were lost. The topic quickly climbed to the top of Weibo's trending list, flooded with farewells and prayers. They only went out to have fun. One user wrote, sharing a photo of Weizhou's murky night sky, "We pray for dawn, for the rain to stop. But every time lightning flashes, I only see the raging red water and the shadows of those who will never return." Another netizen cried in anguish. The night is still restless. The sky over Guangdong still rages, unleashing waves of rain as if testing human resolve. Out there, rescuers haven't rested, still sweeping riverbanks with flashlights, still shouting the names of the missing, still clinging to the faint hope of a miracle. But no miracle came. Those 5 souls now rest forever beneath cold waters. Yet the question lingers. Are we truly prepared to face nature's fury? Or will there be another 5, and another 5, swallowed by the darkness? And as you hear these words, rain is still falling across China. Red alerts are still sounding. Rivers are still roaring. And millions of hearts are still praying. praying for the skies to calm, hoping it happens before another tragedy strikes.